What's going on, guys? This is Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group, and my guest today is a young fella who likes to obviously button his shirts all the way to the top. No, he's not somebody. He's not a nerd. He doesn't have a pocket protector. His name is Eddie Lopez, and he's partners in the company with his brother. And the company is EKG, and they're right now they're doing obviously stuff with real estate because they're doing real estate now, and they have a construction company. So the reason why I wanted to have Eddie on today is because I've been following Eddie now for a little while, and I see what he's doing out there. He's got a tremendous reputation. His movie career didn't work out, so he started, to get involved in real estate and construction. As you can see, he's got a handsome smile, and just I think overall, you have to wonder, you have to question who is really an authority, who is a poser, who is a follower, who's a leader. So somebody like Eddie, I would say he's a leader. I know that he uses some of his own money. I know that he also works with lenders that if there's a property that comes up of interest. And I wanted to have Eddie on also too, because I see him a lot at the events, and I see the people that he hangs with, and they're all credible people. And I asked around, and I said, "Look, I'm thinking about having this young man on my show. I'd love to interview him and get an idea a little bit about himself." So, Eddie, without further ado, tell people a little bit about yourself. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, the pleasure's all mine, man. I've been watching, what you do since my brother and I got into the game, and I appreciate you, man. It's humbling for me to be on here with someone like yourself. My name's Eddie Lopez. I run a company along with my brother, like you said. So we make up EKJ Real Estate. We have been doing this full time for about 3 years now. We have been successful for about a year and some change. We actually, I'm just coming from over there right now, like I was telling you earlier, coming from a property in Englewood that we're finishing up. We're just working on, we're under contract right now, actually. We were only on the market for about 2 days and accepted an offer over asking where, in your world, you can really explain the hows and whys of that, where I can always speak to the real estate and construction, man. But for me, again, it's a pleasure to be on here with you. My brother's busy. Either way, he wants nothing to do with this send-up thing, but he lets me take care of it. But I'm, one piece of a two-man team. So my brother's name is Kyle. He's younger than me. He's 25. And what he does is he's our general contractor. So he takes care of, all our employees as well as pretty much the construction. Once I'm in charge of really acquisition, the logistics, the business end of what we do. But then once we buy it and we own it, I slide it to him, and he takes care of everything within those four walls until it's ready to slide back my way, and I get back on my horse.
So I have a couple of questions I want to ask you, because although I say hi, bye, whatever, and we know each other cordially, through social media and through socialized stuff. A couple of questions I have for you that I want to ask. Number one, what does EKJ stand for?
I love that question. So EKJ, my name is actually Eduardo. So E for Eduardo or Eddie, K for Kyle, and then we've got a younger brother named Jason, who he is actually just graduated high school, and he's on his way to Rutgers pre-law. So he always asked us, hey, guys, what can I do to contribute to what you've built? So, a lawyer on the team wouldn't be a bad idea. So now he's going to Rutgers pre-law. And that's it. I'm one of three brothers, the oldest of three, and that's who we are.
Interesting. I like it. It's a short story. Gets right to the point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. You just mentioned that your brother's going to Rutgers. He's in pre-law. He wants to become an attorney. So have you graduated from any university, college? Did you go to college?
Yeah. So I actually studied at Rutgers University as well. I went to Rutgers, I guess, 2009 through 2014. I triple majored. So I have 3 degrees, one being in human resource management, the second in communication, and the third in organizational leadership. So, and then my brother Kyle, he graduated from New Jersey City University with a degree in criminal justice. So yeah, we're both college graduates.
Amazing. Having a college degree, do you really need it in the industry that you're in?
I think, and I was actually having this conversation the other day with somebody, and at first I used to think, why'd I go to school? That was so silly. All I'm doing is paying these loans, and I still feel like that about 70% of the way. But what college and getting an education did teach me, it taught me a lot about what it is to be a professional, what it is to communicate professionally, what it is to do things in a timely manner. I mean, I'm sure in our industry, the thing about our industry is that there isn't much of a barrier of entry. So anybody can wake up tomorrow, it's not existent, right? So anybody can wake up tomorrow and say, all right, today I'm a real estate investor. You know what? As of this moment right now, I'm a short sale extraordinaire. And who's going to tell them anything? So I think that, could we be where we are without it? Of course. But it definitely taught me how to be a professional, which I realize now people kind of catch on to that right away. And a lot of the times it's the difference between us and the next guy, whether or not we're able to go ahead and make a deal or not.
But it's funny. So, people ask me if I went to college, and I said, I got a BS in street. So that's my extent of going to college. BS in
the School of Hard Knocks?
Was that?
The School of Hard Knocks?
The School of Hard Knocks.
You said you went to the School of Hard Knocks.
I did go to School of Hard Knocks, and I graduated with a degree in BS. So, it's funny because, everybody has a different take on going to school and going to college and continuous education and getting bachelor's degrees and going back to school. I think if you're passionate about the trade that you're in, and education obviously is important, they absolutely should take it. When I got into the industry that I'm in 2005, yeah, there were things out there that were available for people that they could learn, but there really was no main person or per se who was quote unquote a leader in the industry. So I'm self-taught in the art of the short sale and being able to communicate with the banks themselves because if you can get on-the-job training, which was what I had over the last 15 years, and sometimes asking the questions of the people inside the bank. So why am I going to listen to somebody who, goes against the banks every day, which I do, but I have to tell you, I joke around about spanking the bank and stuff like that. But in the end, it's really how to communicate with the bank and how the bank can actually see the value that you're bringing to negotiating a short sale. So I wish there was some type of university that I could have attended. And that's why I do the education that I do, because I want people to understand, the right way of actually negotiating a short sale. And there's two different types of short sales. There's an investor short sale and there's a retail short sale, an end user. So, but I think people always try to swing for the fences, and if they don't hit it, they don't care about the homeowner. And it really always should be people before profit. That's just my take on that.
Always. Of course.
Now, you had mentioned that you have different types of people on your team, or that you have team members. What does your team consist of right now?
So right now, my team consists of, first and foremost, as you know, I'm pretty much everybody. I work real closely with Peak Private Lending, Glenn and Paul over here at Peak Private Lending. So that's pretty much where everything starts in regards to getting our
what is the name of the company again?
They run Peak Private Lending and Peak Properties.
Okay. Oh, Peak Properties?
Peak Properties and Peak Properties and Peak Private Lending.
I never heard of these guys. No, I'm only kidding. Go ahead.
Really? So
I love them. I love them.
Yeah, man. Those are my guys. They've really been able to take my brother and I, and they've taken us in. And we're real grateful for it. They've taken us in and they've showed us. We had kind of gotten through the mud before we got into this relationship that we've been able to nurture with them.
Yeah.
But they've really helped us take everything to another level. So I'll always name them number one. Outside of them, we're building a pretty solid construction team. So we've got electricians on our team, we've got plumbers on our team, we've got HVAC guys on our team, we've got an architect on our team. We have one or two full-time guys that we rotate throughout our projects. So a lot of what we do is really just trying to keep them busy, because we are a means at the end of the day for them to really feed their family. So if we can't provide, if I can't go out and get work for my brother to execute on, then they don't necessarily, they're not busy and they're not making any money. So it's really a trickle-down effect to them. Outside of them, we've got an engineer on our team, and pretty much anything else we need. The name of our game, my brother and I, is to really go ahead and maintain a low overhead. So we try to keep it tight. We do a lot of the work ourselves. Not only because it's cheaper, but because we feel that it's necessary for us to grow in what we do. And eventually we'll get to the point where we will be able to hire out. But I mean, I'm sure you know what these contractors are like. Contractors are a different breed of people. So for a long time, they were beating us up and getting us left and right. So we decided we're going to go out and do this ourselves, and learn it the hard way, learn it hands-on. And it's really, I love to say it. It's really paid off, man.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned the word contractor, right? So the first part of contractor is con.
Correct.
Like con artist. So,
and I hate to talk about them that way because there are real ones there are really good ones out there, but we don't know any of them.
Exactly. So there are amazing contractors that are out there, and then there's people that you would consider con artists, contractors. So,
glorified handyman who themselves contractors, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I mean, for me, like if I was to start a construction company, I think I would be an amazing contractor or subcontractor, working with individuals because, I understand what has to be done and what doesn't. I'm going to give you an example of something that happened very recently to my mom. Not with real estate, but with her vehicle, her car. She has a very nice car, but it's an older car. And if we were to take it to the dealership, I can almost guarantee you that they would have really taken her for a ride. But I brought the vehicle to somebody who I was actually turned on to years ago. This guy is so honest as a mechanic, almost to a fault. Whereas he likes to find out what the problem is with the vehicle and whatever it's going to take to get it done. So if he researches shit for like 4 hours and it's only an hour worth of labor, he's only going to do an hour worth of labor. Ridiculous. But anyway, my mom's muffler and her exhaust system wasn't coming off, but it was rattling. The muffler alone would have been $1,000 plus whatever the exhaust system was. So it probably would have cost $1,800.
Right, because who knows how much they charge an hour at the dealership?
100%. But you know what he did? He spot welded the exhaust system, and the brackets were still on it. So he took the brackets and and tacked it, or spot welded, or whatever it was. 100%. Nothing wrong with it. And I think he charged $172.
Good people exist, man. Good people are still out there.
100%. So you just have to look for them, and you have to actually go for referrals. That's why for me, like I need to have people that I can go to, like yourself, when somebody says to me, "Hey, I want to put a roof on. I want to do a foundation. I want to do a front walkway. I got an issue with electrical or plumbing and stuff like that." It's good to be able to refer stuff.
Right.
In the past, when I've referred people out, I've got nothing but heartache. So it's so hard to find people that are genuine and actually really care about other people. So this is important. Teamwork is so important. Because joking around, teamwork makes the dream work, and it's absolutely true. And reputation,
of course. And a lot of it is when you find these good people, you take care of them and you nurture them and you keep them close. I know a lot of investors out there that what they do is, they'll hire, for example, They'll hire a carpenter, and what they'll do is they'll bring them in, and then they'll just beat them and beat them and beat them until the price is so low that they're not making any money. They're just out here working. They're not even motivated to show up to work anymore because, it's not even a win for them. Some of these investors don't care because, a dime a dozen. He finishes his job. He doesn't want to work for me anymore. I'll just go find another one and do it over and over again. The name of the game when it comes to EKJ standards is very different. We have very few subs that we are bringing along the ride with us, and we're not very we don't tolerate much BS. So it only takes one time for you to kind of just get cut off our team. But for those that are able to stay and those that we keep around, they'd be able to attest that they appreciate what we do and how we are with them.
Brings me to my next question. Why do people love to continue to work with you and your brother? It's funny because you're almost leading me into the question, so I appreciate it.
Right.
Of course. Why do you
Go ahead.
Why do you think people love to work with you and your brother?
I think that one of the main reasons that people like to work with my brother and I is simply because, a lot of the times people think that an investor is up here, and then everybody else just kind of falls in line after him. We actually kind of think of it as the exact opposite, and we understand that in our business and what we do, with anybody that we hire, anybody that we work with, it's always going to be a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
It's even in our contracts and in our negotiations, it's not necessarily, we tell you what to do, you tell me if you can do it or not. No. Hey, listen, this is how we'd like to run it. This is how we'd like for this relationship to go on this specific project. If you like it, great. We'll move forward. If not, then we actually probably about 75% of all our contracts, we write up addendums ourselves to make sure that the subcontractors are satisfied with it.
Oh, wow.
It's not only about getting them through the door and getting them to do work for us. It's also a matter of if we hire somebody and we know that we agreed to 25% pay before they get started, which is fair for the most part, and then 50% pay after they pass their roughing inspection.
Mm-hmm.
If we know that we've got a roughing inspection that day, we're writing the checkup that morning, and the exact moment that inspector gives us the approval sticker or the sub gives us the approval sticker, Matt, it's literally simultaneous. Here's your check. So it's important for a lot of people to understand that it's a two-way street. The same way that we want them to go ahead and the same way that we want them to perform on our contract, we understand that we have to do the same.
So you have
a lot of investors that are.
So hold on a second. So you actually walk onto the site with the change order form, have them sign off on it, and then pay them whatever the difference is?
Correct. Every single time. I mean, we'll write up our own addendum to the contract.
That's pretty impressive.
But long story short is, and I've seen it in other projects that I've been a part of. Well, all of a sudden it's payday, and oh man, the investor's on vacation, or the investor's nowhere to be found, or he's too busy, or he's not picking up the phone, which we've seen over and over again. But no, that's not the way we work. I mean, listen. The same way we expect them to execute on what they agree to do, we execute the same exact way. I mean, you'll never find us not even 10 seconds late on a check. Not once. It hasn't happened, and hopefully it never will. But people like to come back to us because we're honest, because we pay on time. And, my brother and I, we're still, we've done well. Like I said, this was just our 9th house that we've done. But we're still in full-blown learning mode. I mean, we are 100% about it. Even in our projects now, I'm the project, I'm the laborer. And we're still ready to learn, man. So, fortunately, we found people that enjoy working with us. We take care of them. They take care of us. We usually don't fret about the small details. And so far, so good.
So let's back up a little bit. So you're talking about your 9th house. So this is your 9th house. What? Renovating it for someone else or doing it for yourself?
This is our 4th house that we bought, renovated, and sold under EKJ, where we are 100% in control of every aspect of what we do.
Okay.
But before that, Matt, we worked for, and I say it in air quotes now, we worked for a mentor for about 2 years. And man, we did everything for this guy. So I used to be his personal chauffeur, secretary, answered emails, answered phones, drove him around, and, found the properties, funded the properties, doing everything for this guy. While my brother used to work for free in the properties, managing the projects. So before we decided to do things ourselves, we worked for free for about 2 years, making someone else a lot of money, but and that's pretty much where we learned how not to do things.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Are you guys doing New Jersey? You've got New Jersey only, right?
North Jersey only, correct.
Okay, cool. So are you looking for people that you could bring in as interns and have them do the same shit that you did?
No, not necessarily. Thankfully, Glenn and Paul have created this really cool platform where they've got their New Jersey Real Estate Investors Group. They've given me, and I'm so grateful for it, they've given me a chance to somewhat be the face of their group alongside with Glenn and Paul. So what I do is, listen, if somebody, and people reach out to me all the time, people even try to, they ask you, hey, Eddie, how much is your mentorship program or this or that? I don't charge anybody for anything, but if I see that you're really about it, and that you're serious about at least trying to be successful in what we do, people really have full access to myself, my brother, our projects. Hopefully one day, a few years down the road, we'll be able to charge for it. But until then, we're not quite there yet to where we can come in and be consultants. But we're really good at what we do. So anytime that I can just kind of open the window, let somebody in.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you, Eddie, and they want to pick your brain, you're willing to let them pick your brain?
All day long. Yeah.
Okay,
For now, you see, because from my perspective, is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build, say, an army of a little bit like yourself. I'm trying to build except I do it for free, quite just yet. I'm trying to build a little army of foot soldiers that if I can teach them how to go out and find houses, hopefully in an ideal world, when they do, hey, Eddie, this is what I've got, and they may reciprocate. But yeah, no, man, my brother and I, we're an open book, so everybody's got access to what we do.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna throw it out there. Eddie's saying call him. So call him. Pick up the
call
phone.
me. That's my cell phone number on.
Call him. His phone number is direct number. You can call or text him. Is 201-952-8661. You could call him at 201-952-8661. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because he's saying call him. So call Eddie. Call him up. Got a question about construction. You got a possible house. You got a lead on a house. And he wants to talk to you. Now, I know you guys are saying, Matt, why are you promoting him? I'll tell you why I'm promoting him. Because here's a guy who's trying to make it. I don't look at people as competition. I look at everybody as opportunity. And I think people need to look at people as an opportunity and cut the crap with competition, because there's more than enough projects out there to go around. My wife's getting ready to list 2 properties. Both of them have issues with them. So, I have my own source of properties that come in. I've been doing this for 15 years. I could do nothing ever again, and my phone will ring. I'll get text message. I'll get emails. I wish everybody got into that. So for me, it's not just Jersey. It's all over the United States. My phone number is on the bottom of the screen. My number is 866-739-3960. 866-739-3960. You might say, hey, you know what? I want Eddie to be involved, but I want you, Matt, to do the short sale. I don't care. He doesn't care. It's not about the competition. It's about the opportunity. So Eddie's saying call him, pick up the goddamn phone, and call him. If you've got a question about construction, he's saying he's not charging for mentorship. He wants to help people like people helped him. So pick up the phone and you can call him. So his number is 201-952-8661. You'll hit this thing on the replay. This is going to be on my podcast anyway. This is for New Jersey only. I'm nationwide. Maybe Eddie will get there one day. Maybe he'll take EKJ and maybe he'll go nationwide with this service. Eddie, I love having people like you on because you get it. This is important.
I appreciate that, man. You understand? For me, when you ask me, it's a little bit of just confirmation that we're doing the right thing and we're heading in the right direction, man. So you don't understand. For me, it's humbling and for not only me, for my brother and I, it's humbling that people give a damn about what we have to say. So for me, it's a pleasure, man.
Look, at the end of the day, it's about doing the right thing. It's about showing people that you can do right, by others. I know Paul and Glenn. They're very nice people. Have they ever asked me to go to lunch at Rudy's in Closter? No, they have not. And I'm very upset about that. So hopefully Paul's watching this and he's going to.
I'll forward the message.
Well, he's going to start laughing because we always say we're going to go to Rudy's in Closter, but we never go. And now with the pandemic, forget it. What am I going to do? I'm going to eat at the curb outside. You can't even go to a goddamn restaurant. So let me ask you another question. What advice are you going to give somebody who's hesitant to start making moves in this industry? Because there's a lot of people that are watching this, and they may or may not know me. See, I looked at our friends list. I've got a couple thousand friends. You got a couple thousand friends. But we only have about 260 people in common. So there's other people that are out there. So right now what's happening is we are cross-referencing our market shares, and people are getting to know you, and they're getting to know me. And what are you saying to somebody who's so hesitant and doesn't believe in themselves enough to get started in making moves in this type of industry? What would you say?
Number one is you have to commit. And you have to go out somewhere, and it won't be me right now that we know that I don't have any programs like this quite yet. But you've got to go somewhere, and you've got to pick somebody who you idolize, who's doing what you do, and you got to pay up. And that's the perfect place to absolutely start. An example would be anything. If it's free, people say if it's free, it's for me, but you don't necessarily appreciate something until you're coming out of pocket for it. I'm sure there are 100, YouTube videos all over the place as to how you can do, what you do. But if somebody really wants to learn from the ground up, from somebody who's got 15 plus experience, that's really the only way to learn. My brother and I learned the hard way. We thought that we had a mentor. It turned out to be the exact opposite. But if you can find good people, it's worth a few $100, or I'm not saying you got to go out and pay and buy these $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 fortune builders programs, but the idea is to really surround yourself around people who are doing what you do and who are doing what you'd like to do. And in reality, if somebody's good at something, they're going to charge for it. You
were using that company as a reference. That's an alleged company that's out there. You're not saying that somebody shouldn't use it. You're just saying allegedly as a point of reference, correct?
Yeah, I guess you could say. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on anything,
right?
And there are more local people who can really help you get it figured out. But the name to answer the question is you really got to commit. You've got to commit. You've got to commit your energy. You've got to commit some finances in one way or another. I mean, even if you're starting as a wholesaler, you've got to spend a few $100 on your bandit signs and your stapler, or in your world as well. I'm sure there are different ways that cost a little bit of money on how to go ahead and get the leads that you need. But you've got to commit entirely. You've got to commit your heart. You've got to commit your energy. You've got to commit, again, financially, which a lot of people try to figure out, oh, but how can I do it for free? How can I do it without spending any money? Because what if I don't like it? Now I spend money for no reason. If you're asking yourself that, then you're not as committed as you need to be. And burn the boats, man. After I graduated Rutgers, I was in the luxury fashion world, in the human resource luxury fashion world for a few years. I did a few years at the Movado corporate headquarters. and then I graduated to the Shiseido corporate headquarters. And when my brother graduated NJCU, I actually quit. I left those jobs cold turkey. And that's really what you call burning the bridges, because when it's something like what you and I do, I mean, you're 15 plus years in. I'm sure towards the beginning it was a bumpy ride for you, the same way it would be for anybody else. But you can't be determined.
All right, so let me just explain. So when I got started in the industry in 2005, I was doing marketing and advertising for a mortgage company, for a branch of a big company, and I was doing a for sale by owner service with a national umbrella, a national website. We were killing it, but I was doing it for a couple of years. But towards the end, 2004, things were changing. The market was changing. It was a different realm. It was a different reason of why people were trying to sell their property privately. Primarily, it's because they were either upside down on their property because their interest rates had adjusted, and then they're looking for, how can I save commission and not have to come out of pocket? Or I'd like to get some of the equity out of a property that I literally put nothing into, got it for 110% financing or whatever it was, and they got into those crazy, wacky 1% tickler loans. So people didn't understand. So when I got out of that and I started getting into the short sale side of it, I took one of those classes, and I ended up getting a partnership. The guy was like, "Don't work for me. I want you to work with me. You're kind of an asshole, and in this industry, you have to have that little bit of an edge and not care and like brush stuff off." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I did it. In the beginning, 2005, they had no idea who I was. They didn't know what the hell a short sale was. 2007, people started to, "Hey, Matt Marinoff, yeah, he's good. He's a little bit of a douchebag, but he's a good guy." And then, 2007, Hebrew Hammer. People were taking the classes, and then I went dark. I went dark for a long time, man. I went behind the scenes, behind the curtain, because I really wanted to hone my craft. I really wanted to understand more. It wasn't just surface stuff. I wanted to understand the rules, regulations, and guidelines, and really run parallel with the bank and use it against them. So by doing that, then I emerged again, and then I started doing more stuff, going to more social events, going on different lives, and doing speaking engagements. And then 5 years ago, it's 5 years now, we took the company nationwide, and I'm doing what I'm doing here in New Jersey, all over the United States, because I felt like people were forgetting the homeowner, and that's not cool. And now with the market the way it is right now, it's so crazy. It's got a smell. It's got an aroma of 2005 swinging in the air. So we'll see what happens over the next 2 years. I think this is going to be an exciting time for you and your brother Kyle, and for your younger brother when he graduates.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, like we were kind of saying earlier, we have no idea what's coming, but one of the things that we've been able to do, which is a little bit different from really the corporate mentality, is that by now we are contractors. I mean, we can build you an entire house. We have acquired a craft. We've learned a craft that can never be taken from us. So whether it will take us in the future, we know where we'd like to go, but who knows where we'll end up. We've completely abandoned that corporate mentality. I'm terrified of going back, and we're starting to build a little something for ourselves.
It's funny. I talk to entrepreneurs from all over the United States, and I could imagine, bro. It's a running joke. Like, if we were to actually fill out an application for a job, even at a local grocery store, there isn't this. What are your skill sets? Real estate.
Right.
They'll be like, okay, he's going to be a bagger. So it's kind of like not having the formal education, but having the education for it. I mean, I would love for a big bank to hire my team to come in and audit the shit out of distressed real estate. I would fly right through it because I can spot fraud a mile away. And you could tell when people are trying, when people aren't trying, what their intentions really are, how many modifications did they have, did they hide assets? Dude, I know it all because I've been through it all. I know how to spot the warning signs. We don't like to get in and work with people that are get-overs. So in this industry, it's good to have somebody like yourself that's serious about helping others. I mean, look, Eddie said, call him. So if you got questions about construction, you don't even have to be in New Jersey. Eddie doesn't give a shit. Call him up.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If you want Eddie's advice, maybe you do a JV with somebody. Maybe you give them advice and they pay you in the end of the project. I don't know. I don't care. I know in your head right now, you're like, oh my God, why is she promoting me? But at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the homeowners that are in trouble or that want to sell real estate. And there's people out there that are trying to do the right thing. Paul and Ron next door, they're not doing the right thing. They have not taken me to Rudy's and Closter. I'm throwing it out there. I'm throwing the pizza challenge down right now. I want to see in the next 2 weeks, I want a picture out front of Rudy's when they took me for a slice of pizza. But at the end of the day, it's so important to have people like you that really genuinely care. And in the future, I'm probably going to be doing a panel in the next month or two. I'd love to have you on. As one of the contractors.
My pleasure.
One of the contractors does real estate.
Yeah, things like this, man. This is right up my alley. When I was in HR, I was in the human resources space. I was in the training and development space. So when I get invited onto things like these by people like you, again, it shows me that we're on the right path, that we're at least pushing in the right direction. And B, I love this type of stuff, man. This helps me. This allows me to be able to just kind of create a hybrid between my past life and what we're passionate about now. It doesn't get better than this for me, man.
No, 100%. So listen, I appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I know you're working on a project. You want to tell us a little bit about the last property or the property you just put on the market 2 days, got multiple offers, get people excited about somebody who had a mentorship one day, and then the next day, a couple of years later, I mean, you're doing it, man. You're buying houses, you're fixing them, and you're selling them. Tell us about the project.
We are, man.
What are you talking
about? It's exciting. Sure. So we just finished up something over in Englewood. We were funded by Peak, of course. It wasn't our typical full gut rehab. So we're used to really just stripping our properties down to the studs and being able to build them beautiful ourselves. But this one wasn't necessarily like that. We bought well. We bought in the high 200s. We put about $50,000 into the property. Well, actually, exactly, we put in $44,693 into the property.
Well, who's counting?
And
right?
now we just accepted it. But who's counting? Well, that's my job, So I try to take care of that aspect of my brother's swinging the hammer.
Yeah.
But we went to market on Tuesday. By the end of Tuesday, we had 2 or 3 written offers. We accepted an offer on Thursday above asking, conventional loan. And now it's just, now we just got to deal with inspections, appraisals, which we're confident we'll be okay through. And this will be our biggest win yet, man, by far.
That's great. That's amazing.
By far, yeah. This is, and it's cool because stuff like this, man, this is what dreams are made of. Speaking from just a normal person's perspective who has been able to work hard, along with my brother, of course, I can't say it enough. While we were working for that mentor, man, we used to work for free all day from 7 to 7. And then we used to Uber at night just to make ends meet on our bills.
That's great.
Right. So we would work all day for free. And then at night we would throw in headphones, talk to each other while we're Ubering, literally taking our cars and Ubering people around. That's the stuff that nobody necessarily sees. We're our last project in Hashbrook Heights was a little bit of a takeoff. And with this one, we're really gaining some momentum, gaining some speed. We always knew we'd be here. We didn't think it would happen this quickly. But it's all a result, like you were saying earlier, of just really doing the right thing, and it really has like a compounding interest, a compounding effect. One good deed, one good deed, one good deed. I help this guy for free. This person calls me, has a question about this. I answer it, and it just accumulates and accumulates until we get nice big wins like the one we're working on right now.
That's amazing. So Eddie, I have to ask, how old are you, sir?
Me, I'm 28. I turned 29 in a few months in August, and my brother turns 26 in August as well.
20.
So my brother's 3 years younger than me.
He's how many?
My brother's 3 years younger than I am.
And then your little brother, little, how big is? How old is he?
Jason just graduated high school. He's 17.
That's crazy, bro. That's
18
crazy.
in September. Yeah, man. We work hard. We do what we can, and hopefully, actually, I just got off the phone this morning with a good friend of mine, and we are possibly in line to buy our first property with the intention to keep it.
Nice.
So we're pushing it, man. We do what we can with what we've got. The armory is slowly getting bigger and bigger, and here we are, man. I'm on the RRG Recovery Group live.
Yeah, you're too funny, bro. Listen, I appreciate you coming on every day. Not every day. Well, I'm not doing it every day now. I'm doing it Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We're doing these lives because I want to showcase other people. I want people to understand that even with the coronavirus out there, real estate is cooking. People are out there. They're putting additions on their houses. They're renovating their houses. Interest rates are low. If you're buying properties, investment properties, if you're getting into the hard money realm, there are a couple of companies out there, obviously, that you can reach out to. But overall, the whole purpose of the 12 o'clock show is to let people know that there are leaders out there. And this dude is under 30, and he's saying, call him. So Eddie's saying, call him. So this is Eddie Lopez from EKJ Real Estate and EKJ Construction. And you can reach him direct. He says, call him or text. His phone number is 201-952-8661. Again, it's 201-952-8661. And you can reach out to him direct. Find out more about what he's doing. He's been through a ton of stuff, and he's looking to give back a little bit. Not looking to be
sure. And Matt, just to kind of piggyback on what we were saying before, like anybody who is actually able to pick up the phone. I know it's not easy, right? Like anybody watching is looking at their phone like, nah, I'm not going to call them. But that's what it takes to kind of break through the barriers, to kind of go back to the question earlier. What advice do you have?
100%.
Like just call me. I mean, I know there's got to be at least a few people looking at their phone like, man, it would be so nice to talk to somebody like that. But like, I just don't have the wherewithals for it. Like,
well, Eddie,
just call me.
I got to stop you there because there might be some women on here looking at it. Are you married? Are you taken? Are you taken?
No. I do. I'm taken. Okay. Not married. No. But yeah, I'm off the market, man. I'm off market. Like the properties we like.
You know what? You just broke a lot of ladies' hearts and maybe some guys' hearts too. Just so you know. Guys,
hey, it's 2020, man. Everything goes.
Hey, man, some people are just try. You know what I'm saying? It's just try. Try. Anyway, so Eddie Lopez, everybody's my guest today. Eddie, at the end of every show, I ask people to emulate my finger point. Do you think you can do it? That's pretty good, bro. That's pretty good. I'm going to give you 7.5, bro. 7.5.
I'll practice for next time. By the time I'm on the panel, I'm going to have it down.
You know what? Because most people are like this, or they're like this. But you nailed it.
You're right. The fingers got to be close to the face and pointing in the same direction you're looking.
You got it, brother. You got it. Hold on. Let me take a picture of that. Hold up. Let me take a picture of that. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Nice. All right, my man. I appreciate you coming on. Guys, if anybody wants to reach out to Eddie, 201
The pleasure's on. Thank you for having me, bro.
61. Absolutely. Thanks so much for hanging on. Eddie, hold on. Don't go anywhere.
All right.